That's one of the key reasons why MyHome in such a short time has become successful as well, is that for an end customer it's much more difficult to believe on a local fabricator, for example, to supply the windows for their home. They have to trust the fabricator, they have to trust that the fabricator will choose the right glass, that they will choose the right type of steel, the right type of hardware, that the fabricator will assemble it the right way. It's much easier for an end customer to trust a brand like Saint-Gobain because we have earned that trust over many years.
I think that whole process is integrated with Saint-Gobain, which is, I think, the most important part. We were discussing that earlier.
For installing UPVC windows, you need a certain quality of civil work finish, like straight lintels, sills. It's not always easy to get the absolute desired civil finish across all projects. So do you come in any earlier to maybe brief the team, the civil teams on quality control so that the final product after installation has the desired results?
See, any retrofit window, why that matter, whether it's a UPVC or an aluminium window, the aperture quality is very, very important. We work with an architect in the beginning of the stage itself, on the design stage. From there our journey starts. Then we go to the sites frequently, we visit the site, and we will, once after the order has been frozen, the next stage is that we'll go to the site, we will talk to the customer, civil contractor, we'll explain our needs. That is very important. So we also have a concept of providing a templates. The templates are right to the diagonals and measurements are proper. If the windows are much in larger quantity for a project, high-rise towers and all, we give a template, whereas the machine can just insert the template, use it and then plaster it. It's easier for them to maintain a unique size for many of the aperture, as well as to maintain the aperture in a right dimension. Those are both the ways we help the people to make the apertures properly.
I think this is a standard problem in most sites that you face, where you're not providing a template. Is there an allowable tolerance that should be left on both sides?
See, 5 mm either side is allowable tolerance, which will also, silicon also has to be filled to a certain thickness. We should not fill also silicon in a lesser thickness. That's also a problem, because tomorrow it will come out and the seepage will happen. So we need to have a minimum 5 mm gap on each side so that it can be properly filled with the silicon. If the people are unable to maintain that proper dimensions, the allowable tolerance is maximum 10 mm.
So I have actually 2-3 points related to this, because this, like Mohan himself says, is a big pain point. So one, do you submit shop drawings in detail for an architect to sign off before you giving on the detail? That you do? Okay. I mean, that's kind of expected. Have you ever recommended subframes, using subframes?
We had done couple of projects like that. It is very good if the subframe is there. We can expect a proper finish on the size and everything. And for us, it is easy to install. We have done couple of projects like that. Again, it's a cost of the project. It is obviously increases the entire project cost, but quality-wise, it is absolutely fantastic.
Is there any standard for a maximum size or a good size for a window? That is one question. And at the same time, do you also provide solutions for non-conventional shapes, so trapezoidal, and there are a lot of things that people are experimenting with these days. So a little about sizes.
The sizes that we see, there's almost no standard sizes in India, except in large projects. Multi-story projects, they usually have a maximum window or door of 7 or 8 feet high. The windows are usually less than 5 feet in height. But in a residential apartment or a villa where someone's making their own home, then we see all kinds of shapes and sizes, and we are able to offer like triangular, trapezoidal, arch. We are able to provide all these different shapes.
Is there, again, like we have already been speaking about precision issues when it comes to rectangular openings, so these are just going to take the complication to the next level?
It's even tougher to do them right, which is why we do it in a certain way.
Yeah, so if it comes non-conventional sizes, we prefer to go with a template, which gives us more precision on the dimensions. Particularly the arc window and all, we make a template, we transfer those templates to the factory, and the arc has been bent as per the template so that when it goes back, it matches properly.
Renovation is also a very big, I think, requirement that you might be facing to replace old windows with new. So, could you tell us a little about when MyHome team really comes in at the time of disassembly, or is that also something that you take into your scope of work?
Again, we get into the consultation first. If I am a end customer, I am using old window and I would like to change that, there will be some need, correct? Either it's a sound or heat insulation,
Right.
whatever it is. So the first step is the consultation, what the need, whether we can be able to fulfill or not. So once that has been done, obviously there are many times, again, architects and interior designers are involved in that particular process. So we closely work with them and finalize the design first. Once after that has been done, then we also have a certified agency, civil agency. Now the bigger problem is that how I can disassemble or remove the old window and make the apertures ready for fixing my new window. So in each metro cities, we have been trained a lot of civil contractor and certified also. They takes care of the entire removal and comes, it has to fit. We have a special lead time for this kind of a cases, so we have to serve faster. So once the windows has been reached there, with the help of a civil contractor, we'll remove the old window. And again, if the customer is living inside the house, I cannot remove all the windows at a time. So it's a phase-wise manner, one room by one room. So as per the customer convenience, we does the entire job in 3 to 4 days time.
We are speaking of a predominantly tropical climate context here, and the larger the window is directly proportional to heat gain, while those kind of things can still be combated with solar controlled glass or DGU units. Another major concern is mosquitoes. So mosquito meshes become an integral part of our window requirement these days. And is there a comprehensive solution that you provide for the same?
I think the key word here is comprehensive.
I think a mosquito mesh is something that is usually an afterthought for a lot of the window making companies. A lot of solutions that you see in the market is just a net that is stuck onto the window using Velcro. We have tried to do it differently. One advantage that we have is Saint-Gobain has a company as part of it called Adforce, which makes mesh. And it's a special type of mesh, fiberglass mesh, which is very transparent. And like when you see there and you're standing a bit away, you don't even see that there's a mesh there. And it's also made from special fiberglass material so that it doesn't unravel over time. I mean, the squares remain squares. So that's for the mesh part. And the way we fix this mesh into our windows, we do it differently than how everyone else does. And the way we fix it is, rather than using flexible gaskets, which can loosen over time, we hammer in plastic clips, which don't. And that gives a very stiff screen, which remains
Like a riveting process.
It's not riveting, but the end result is similar.
One of the other challenges we have faced with aluminum and with UPVC windows, especially the sliding ones, is that general design has a track at the bottom which collects the water and has a weep hole from which the water is supposed to drain out, which in theory works pretty well, but over the period of time, dust and dirt and leaves and whatnot settles, and that weep hole gets blocked. And then what I've had some complaints with old customers 3-4 years later, suddenly the windows leaking and they couldn't figure out where it's leaking from, etc., etc. These kind of issues, something that you focused on. How do you address this specific issue and any other such very micro level challenges that only experience can teach a person?
More like an easy to maintain, more sustainable to maintain.
Yeah, I mean, that's what tropicalizing is, because see, the point is that these windows were possibly developed, say, in Europe or America, where the dust levels were not this high. But in India, that sliding channel will get choked within a year or two. How have you tropicalized, or what are the components that you have tropicalized and how?
What's different is, first of all, compared to Europe, we provide more weep holes per meter. We provide it of a larger size as well. And what we also do is, inside the profile, the way it is designed, there are actually specific channels for water to travel. where we don't have any other components, it's just for water. So that even if it does get choked up, which we can't control, I mean, dust is dust, it's super easy to clean. And it's something that even the homeowner can easily maintain. So it's just a matter of telling them you just need to do this and it gets unblocked. So that's not a problem.
So we also provide them the maintenance tips during the handing over of the project.
Right.
How the windows has to be maintained. Obviously, any product requires a slight amount of maintenance to keep up.
Have you ever thought of an integration of a grill?
We have, for example, it opens outside, the glass shutter opens outside and the mesh shutter opens inside. And between the two, we have a certain provision where you can fix a grill. So that design is available.
And it's integrated with your system itself?
Yes. So there is, even steel below it, so that whoever comes up with the grill, we do not provide the grills, but whoever brings the grill, they can screw the grill into the frame and it gets screwed into the steel itself.
Because of the tropical climate that we have, especially when you're using white UPVC over a period of time, is there going to be, fading of the color or a yellowish kind of tint coming onto UPVC?
There is something called titanium dioxide. The property of titanium dioxide is it prevents this degradation due to UV. So we give the highest amount of titanium dioxide that anyone uses in India. And when we tested our profiles in accelerated UV conditions, so we've already got the results for 18 years. And the amount of color fade is imperceptible to the eye.
Saint-Gobain is one of those few companies in the construction sector which has both the vision, management that kind of is sensitive to sustainability goals as much as business goals, manages its social impact along with the business impact. You have a certain scale, you have a certain reach across the country, across the globe, and you have a brand equity built on trust. So I think it becomes almost mandatory on you, in my opinion, to kind of possibly take the next step towards making the construction industry a better place to live, work, and deliver. There's a huge shortage of people who are actually skilled and who have had training on certain domains of construction work. It's one area where I feel a company like you should really, it would be nice if 3-4 of you companies kind of take the initiative, form a pan-India kind of a skill development network where you train people in the construction industry, certify them, brand them, so that they get a better quality of life because they can demand a premium. Therefore, they start doing better quality of work.
So we have started a initiative we called GITC. Saint-Gobain GITC is a glass installation training center. So today I am training the people and certifying the people. They are servicing for me as well as I give a certification. They can use it for other places also. As like you touch upon not only the glass installation, you are now touching upon the other parts like masonry, civil work. India, there's manpower is not an issue. Only thing is that right skill development is right now the challenge. So definitely we'll start somewhere. We have already these small initiatives already happening in place. We'll make it in a formal way with the support of other industry players, and then we can run this program.
From tranquility to mirth, warmth and well-being, windows bring liveliness into our spaces. This was an attempt at decoding windows for you. We are happy to receive your questions so that we can come back to you with answers, our solutions, and also build it into our research so that we can serve you better. Thank you.
Thank you.